The heat continues to build in the south, and we also have major air quality issues in the Great Lakes and Northeast, and there's something to watch in the tropics as well. What's going on, guys? I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, and in this video, we're going to first talk about the heat. That continues to build right on through the 4th of July weekend. It is dangerous across parts of the Deep South and plains, especially. When it comes to air quality, it is all about those Canadian wildfires still sending smoke into the northern tier of the country, even really as far south as parts of the southeast corner of the United States, but the air quality extremely dangerous across parts of the United States because of that thick particulate matter, because of the wildfire smoke. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the tropics. There's one area to watch. It's hanging out towards the central part of the Atlantic. We're going to break that down as well. Hey, before we get into it, if you do want to stay updated on all things weather, especially as we are in hurricane season, you have to hit subscribe. Please do that. Hit the thumbs up button as well if you find this content helpful. Here's the deal. You see the big footprint of all that pink across the southern tier of the country, really going from St. Louis all the way down to New Orleans, including the Florida Panhandle. This is where we have excessive heat warnings. That is that pink shaded color here. That's through Nashville and Tupelo, New Orleans again, Shreveport. Heat advisory, that means, again, we're still talking about the temperatures being very hot, but maybe not as high end as what we were seeing in that excessive heat warning there in the pink. Putting that all together to what it feels like out there. Again, this is the heat index, the feels like temperatures, how it feels on your skin. The way your body cools itself is by sweating. And when there's more moisture in the atmosphere, your body can't evaporate that sweat off of you. Your body can't cool itself efficiently. And that's where we start to have some of those issues. So where we're seeing the heat index approach 105, 110, 115 plus, that's where we're really starting to have some problems. So this is going to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. You see it there, widespread triple-digit heat indices. That continue to build as we get into 4th of July weekend. Look at this. We're pushing 110 in Jackson. Triple digits in Savannah. 97 degrees is the heat index in Nashville. Still really, really hot in Texas, although we are improving things, considerably from where we've been over the past 10 plus days or so. And then you see this bubble of heat really expand into the southeast corner of the United States. This is going to be now 3 o'clock on Sunday. So all of the heat that's been bottled up over Texas for the last week is now starting to expand east. Again, still blazing hot in Shreveport, 105 to 110. That's what it'll feel like. Jacksonville, closer to 105, maybe even up to 110. Look at that. Savannah, Georgia on Sunday, exceeding 110 degrees. Again, when you factor in the heat and humidity together to get that heat index. Now, the reason for that is it's this big area of high pressure. We've been highlighting this a lot on this channel, and it had been big over Texas, New Mexico, and central Mexico. Now it's still dominating the weather pattern, but it's kind of moved over to the North Gulf Coast a little bit more. So we're still hanging on to the heat in southeast Texas to Houston, San Antonio, but as this area of high pressure kind of shifts a little bit and it moves and just kind of meanders across the North Gulf Coast, the footprint of that area of high pressure by Saturday, kind of see that clockwise flow as well, those arrows, expands towards Florida, expands towards Georgia and the Carolinas, and then up towards St. Louis, even Roanoke, Virginia. So there is a lot of heat that will continue to expand north and east along that. Again, if you are interested in finding the tropics section of this video, the chapters are listed below. You can kind of scrub across to find out what you are looking for. There's a lot to get to in this video, including air quality. Again, this is all related to the wildfires burning like crazy in Canada. This gray shaded color on your screen, this light shaded color on your screen, really from Vermont through New York, New Jersey, back to the Carolinas, even down to Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama. You see that little gray blotch there. We're under that air quality alert, and that really extends from Des Moines through all of Wisconsin, all of Michigan. That includes Detroit. We had some crazy, crazy video again, some crazy pictures of what the wildfire smoke was doing to the skyline in areas in and around southern and central Michigan. That is going to continue again through about Friday until we start to see things dissipate just a little bit in that department. All right, on to the tropics now, and things are, relatively speaking, quiet. I'll talk about why in just one second, but first of all, the opportunity for development is on the lower side. Still watching this area of disturbed weather here. The X marks the spot. You see the thunderstorms off to the east side of where the center could try to form. So it's still not that organized, just disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Again, development zone, we're going to be watching for our friends in Bermuda right there. And then through the central Atlantic, this could lift up toward Nova Scotia And again, that would not be a bad thing, pending it doesn't get too strong, which I don't think it's going to if it does develop, because they have wildfires burning, especially on the southern tip of Nova Scotia as well. Now, the one thing that this is doing, it is bringing some much-needed rain. We don't want it all at once, but it is bringing much-needed rain to parts of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. You see that darker red flare up there. Those are the thunderstorms that are kind of being pulled up from the Caribbean. So this is what I'm talking about here. We have the storm itself up here, and it's kind of pulling moisture up and helping to generate these thunderstorms again around the Virgin Islands, certainly through Puerto Rico. This is going to help to finally cool us down, to get rid of some of that dust that has been in our atmosphere from the last Saharan Dust outbreak. And it's because of that Saharan Dust outbreak, actually, that is one of the reasons why we've been able to quiet things back down. There's been so little dust lately that has been in the main development region, and that really helped the Brett and Cindy get going. I want to show you here, we do have a few tropical waves. There's another one rolling off of Africa right here. There's another one that will likely impact Trinidad and Tobago over the next few days. And there's one right here in the central Atlantic as well. None of those look to develop over the next couple of days, really over the next 5 to 7 days either. So in the main development region, we are going to be quiet, which is what we should be for this time of the year. Again, Brett and Cindy were so out of their minds crazy for developing there. It's not even funny. Again, we had 2 storms develop there in the month of June. Again, that has not happened before. We've had, or it hasn't happened since the 60s, that we had 2 named storms together in June, and that was only a handful of times we had any kind of storm develop there since the late 1800s. All right, I want to show you the tropical model here. This is going to be the European model. You see all the moisture associated with that little wave that is highlighted by the National Hurricane Center. Notice by the time we get to June 30th, so as we get into Friday into Saturday, we start to get that little closed millibar there, or closed isobar there, indicating that we are going to try to see this strengthen. You see the opportunity for the very heavy rain associated with that, and then it kind of falls apart. So there's a little bit of suggestion that this is going to try to develop a little bit. Again, we want to see that development, the isobars kind of close off a little bit, that lines of equal pressure there. There's a shot that it happens, but again, there's not guidance kind of screaming that this is going to develop. Either way, some moisture is going to head up towards Nova Scotia as we get into the first few days of July, which should help a little bit anyway, that wildfire that has been burning, or wildfires that have been burning, at least in Nova Scotia. We need a lot more help for those big wildfires that continue to burn in Canada and send the smoke in the United States' direction. Not clear, though, when those are going to finally shut off, because there are a lot of those, and we need a lot of rain and a lot of work to get those under control. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if you found this content helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing as well. If you hit that alert bell, it will notify you when we post new content. And again, we will catch you next time. Have a great afternoon.